Well, ladies and gentlemen, this crowd is still buzzing. You heard General Skandar Akbar early in the hour say that Ted DiBiase owed him a favor. Apparently, that was DiBiase's repayment of that favor. Thank God that Cowboy Bill Watts was on the scene. I really think he saved the right eye of Hacksaw Jim Duggan from being burned with that cigar. And Joe, last week here on Mid-South, more unpredictable developments, this one surrounding the North American title.
Well, Ric Flair has said publicly that he never wants to wrestle Terry Taylor again. I think, personally, that Ric Flair is scared of Terry Taylor. Terry Taylor had a North American title match against the Nightmare. Ric Flair came out, and as if the prestige of the North American title wasn't enough incentive for the Nightmare, Ric Flair offered him $10,000. Then later on in the match, we saw Ric Flair got involved in the match and handed something to the Nightmare. Let's watch the closing moments of that match now. Taylor gets the arm whip. Beautiful, he elevated him. The North American champion's on a roll. He's got the Nightmare now. He's getting the momentum. Come on, Taylor. Come on, Terry.
Terry Taylor's on fire, the momentum. The pace has quickened. Taylor on the offensive. This is what he wanted.
Nightmare reverses the arm whip. Taylor ducks the clothesline in the forearm. He got the forearm on it. Cover him. Terry Taylor doesn't go for the lateral press. He goes for the figure four. What strategy. He goes for the figure four. He's got it locked in.
Taylor's got it locked. Flair's on the apron. And look at Gilbert
on the apron. Gilbert is pulling. Gilbert's pulling the Nightmare. The Nightmare's into the ropes. He's got to break the hold now. But if Eddie Gilbert hadn't have pulled him over, we would have seen, I think, the end of the Nightmare. The Nightmare up. His knees are hurting him. Taylor's got him set for it again. Come on, Terry. The Nightmare. Ric Flair trips Terry Taylor from the outside. Ric Flair trips Terry Taylor from the outside. The Nightmare back up on his feet. Carl Fergie admonishing Ric Flair for his actions outside of the ring. That's just the pile driver. Nightmare went for the pile driver. Terry Taylor reversed it. Taylor catches Gilbert and slingshots him into the ring. A hard right. Gilbert retreats. But Ric Flair handed something to the Nightmare outside of the ring. The Nightmare catches Gilbert.
Oh, no!
Goodness! Ric Flair handed something to the Nightmare. The Nightmare, it looked as if he put it into his mask.
Flair handed something to the Nightmare. The Nightmare put it in his mask. He knocked Taylor cold. We've got a new North American champion. We've got a new champion. I can't believe this.
Flair gained a moral victory in that one, I believe, because Terry Taylor is no longer the North American heavyweight champion, and that certainly will hurt his contention for the world's title.
It certainly will, and the North American champion is in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go now to ring announcer Boyd Pierce.
This event, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the red corner at 285 pounds from parts unknown, the North American heavyweight champion, the Nightmare. And across...
Hold it just a second. From now on, when you introduce this man, you introduce him by his real name, the champion. Cut the Nightmare out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert say that he wants the North American heavyweight champion to not be introduced anymore as the Nightmare, but as the champion. And across the ring at 227 pounds from Chicago, Illinois, Mike Nichols.
Mike Nichols, there you see him, and going against that man, the North American heavyweight champion, the champion, as he wants to be called now, or as Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert says that he will be called. Whatever you call him, you can call him devastating, and you can also call him awesome. He is both those adjectives.
Well, I've heard some good things about Mike Nichols, but he's definitely at a big disadvantage in this match because the Nightmare is certainly an awesome competitor. The Nightmare going straight to the attack. He wasted no time in going right after Mike Nichols. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert on the outside of the ring, managing the champion, as he calls him. He's certainly a force to be reckoned with as well. Terry Taylor is hot on the trail of that North American title. I certainly hope he gets it back, Jim.
I sure do too, Joel. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, coming up still in this hour, we've got Dirty Dutch Mantell. We also have a great tag team matchup, the Fantastics against the Dirty White Boys, all still to come in this hour, Mid-South Wrestling. I'm Jim Ross along with Joel Watts at ringside. Thanks very much for allowing us to come to your home once again, ladies and gentlemen, as you see the big masked man, well over 280 pounds, the North American champion. He is operating relentlessly against young Mike Nichols.
Well, you know something, Jim? You never know. My father has held the North American title on many, many different occasions, and for quite a long time. I'm sure he wouldn't mind holding that belt. Of course, that's not his primary objective at this point.
Well, I think General Skandar Akbar knows his objective, and this nightmare, I'll tell you, Joe, you know, he is so methodical. He's not flashy. He doesn't have a lot of real, but this right here that separates the men from the boys, that pile driver.
Well, I think he could have put Mike Nichols away long before the pile driver, but that is the coup de grace.
Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and the champion, the North American heavyweight champion, ladies and gentlemen, victorious, and we'll be back with a look at Dirty Dutch Mantell right after this.